Common problem for the 64 Galaxie and maybe more of the other years is the wiper switch. They're either unavailable or really expensive, like $200. The one on this car fell apart when I took the car apart, so I need to get a new switch. But then I realized what was going on. Like, this is a switch for the Galaxie, and it has a longer extension shaft than, say, like a Mustang, and that's because the Galaxie has this reflector piece that has a light bulb that goes in here, and then the bezels on the switches are backlit, and so you can see the lettering through, the light lights up the lettering on the bezel. Whereas I don't think a Mustang or other models have that. That's why the Galaxie has this special long switch. Now this one is for a single speed wiper, so it doesn't fit this harness, and it has a 2-speed motor, so we want to keep that. So this is a 2-speed from a Mustang, but obviously it's too short. So what I was able to do is open up the hole for the switch, because it just looked like that before, because kind of just went up to here, and the flats kept it from turning. So I opened it up so that this would go all the way through, but then there's nothing to keep it from turning. So I just kind of dug a little groove in there with my die grinder, and then tacked a little bit of piece of weld on the edge, and then now the switch will go in there and it'll stay and not rotate. So now that's just about the right depth. I mean, I've already tried this and I make sure it works. So you can put it on the dash, you put the trim on, you put the bezel on, you put the knob on, and it's just about that, not even ½ inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch difference. Because it sit here before and it was too far down. So now you can get everything to screw on there. So I know that there's a company that has like an extension for the shaft and an extension for this, but it's like 80 bucks. It's out of stock, it's back ordered, they don't have it, whatever. So, and this way here you can use just a basic 2-speed switch from a Mustang or Comet or whatever, and just have to dig a little groove in there so it won't spin, and this seems like it should work out great. Got the dash in, all the bolts are in on top. There's some brackets that go on the corners, got to put those in. It's not as bad as I thought. I mean, you can get to stuff up there, but definitely wouldn't be fun. And that, when I make that console for the Holly digital dash, that'll be removable, so you can get to anything that needs maintenance. Gauges are mounted. I put the plastic back on. I'm still waiting on a piece of trim for here, but it's not a big deal. I can put the trim on and put the switches on and everything. It's not too bad to get to. But everything else is assembled, the glove box and everything. I got the wires tied up, except for everything. All these go to the dash and lights and switches, so I left those loose anyway. Speaker wires. So not too bad. One thing that I learned is I'll never use silver reflective insulation ever again, because you drop a screw in it or anything and you can't find it. Or if I use it again, I'll spray the whole thing black, because you literally, if anything, screw, nuts, washers, they just disappear. You can't find them until you like move everything around and fish around with your hands. Then you can find stuff. So looks like everything's holding water. I haven't seen any drips. Everything's hooked up. I think I'm going to shorten this hose here. I'm going to see if I got another connector, because this really could just go straight over. No need to have it loop around like that. I gotta clamp up these up here. So, I mean, once I get the dash is in and I get all the switches and everything hooked up, I want to put the doors on. I gotta start doing some body panels on this thing and start getting things assembled. So it's getting there. Got the doors hung. They're just kind of roughed in for right now. I think they line up pretty good. It's not bad. But you know, the weather seal strip's not on there. I got the steering wheel just kind of mounted for right now. Radio's in. Still got to replace that piece of dash, so I can't put the switches in yet. But I got some of the ductwork hooked up. Got the other door hung. It's pretty good for a first try. It's kind of hitting right here though. I don't know what's going on there. I gotta adjust the rear window, I guess. It's kind of touching that. There's no windows in it, so I always load up a bunch of weights in the door, because if you don't, and then you put the glass in, it'll sag and then it throws all your body lines off. So when I put the windows in, I'll fine tune it a little bit just in case it's a little off, but it gets me pretty close. You know, I have to double check, you know, line the fenders up with it and everything, but that's just something I got to put the latches on. Otherwise the doors are going to come flying open. So but I think it's coming along pretty good. Got the heat exchanger pump all plumbed, wired, filled, it's running. So that's good. I had some kind of hiccup with the electrical stuff. The plug wasn't really working right, and turns out that if there's no fluid, it only runs for like a second and then shuts off and then resets and shuts. So I thought there was something wrong with it, but it just needs to have coolant in it or some fluid so it doesn't overload itself. So far so good. I don't see any leaks, so that's yet. But we'll let that sit for a while and make sure that it stays dry. There's a lot of corrosion on this trim piece that we were able to get, and so I wet sanded it with 1000. There was also a big dent right there. I was able to get that smoothed out. It's not perfect, but it's not bad for a 60-year-old part. This was really heavily corroded all the way through, so I sanded it down. And now I'll go back over it with some polish. Try to clean it up a little bit. You gotta be careful because it's pretty soft aluminum, and if you catch it with a little buffer, it'll really damage it. So I try to just use a drill. lot better. You can still see some imperfections. I'll go back over a little bit and try to clean some more of it up, but it's a big improvement over what it looked like before. So, and then I'm gonna probably have to put a black stripe around the inner perimeter there. That's all worn off, but it had a black stripe there originally, so I'll go back with some paint on that. Got it all polished up. It's much better than it was, but it's not perfect. I guess I could spend a lot more time on it, maybe get it perfect. But for what we're doing, I think it's good. So I laid out to make the stripe, and basically I had to run a 1/4 inch piece of tape all the way along where the stripe's gonna go, and then go back with more tape on both sides, so I have a 1/4 inch gap, and then that way there you pull the centerpiece up, and now I can go back over and just, you know, put some enamel paint on it. I think that'll be good. I got it painted and pulled the tape off. I think it came out pretty good. That corner on the top was a little tricky. I had to kind of do that by hand, but I'll let it dry a little bit and it'll be ready to put back in. So the steering column's got a little extra long shaft on it to make sure we had enough threads, but it kind of sticks up a little too far. So now when you put the horn button in there, it's you know, it's kind of hits the shaft before it seats all the way. So I guess I'm going to have to trim that shaft down, and so that it has some clearance for the horn button. I got all the dash controls in. Everything looks pretty good. Got switches here. This is for the speedometer, because the Dakota Digital you can change modes. And then this one here is for the torque converter lockup. So looks pretty good.